It was a bright and sunny morning in the small town. People were going about their usual routines, walking to work, talking to neighbors, and stopping by the local coffee shop. Everything seemed normal, but today would be different. Anna had just finished a busy week at work and was looking forward to her weekend plans. But first, she had one important stop to make, the laundry. She had gathered her clothes the night before and was ready to drop them off at the local laundromat. As she walked down the street, she thought about how nice it would be to finally relax after a hectic week. Little did she know, this trip to the laundromat would lead to the most unexpected mix-up. When Anna arrived, the laundromat was bustling with activity. People were talking, folding clothes, and waiting for their laundry to finish. The smell of freshly washed clothes filled the air, and the sound of machines spinning could be heard in the background. Anna approached the counter to drop off her bag of laundry. "Hi, can I leave my clothes here?" she asked the attendant, a friendly woman named Sarah. "Of course. Just place your bag on the counter, and I'll take care of it," Sarah replied with a smile. Anna was in a bit of a rush, so she quickly dropped her clothes and left the laundromat. It seemed like everything was going smoothly. But little did she know, Sarah had made a small mistake. The laundromat was very busy that day, and in all the hustle and bustle, she had mixed up Anna's laundry with someone else's. It was a simple error, nothing too serious, right? But this small mistake would soon lead to a big problem. As the day went on, the mix-up began to spread. More and more people were picking up the wrong clothes, and soon the entire town was in chaos. Shirts, pants, jackets, and even scarves were being swapped. Nobody knew whose clothes were whose, and it seemed like no one would be able to fix the problem. Anna received a call from her friend John, who had also visited the laundromat that day. "Anna, you won't believe it. I think I picked up the wrong jacket," he exclaimed. "What do you mean?" Anna asked, puzzled. "I'm serious. I've got someone else's jacket here, and it's not even my size." John replied, laughing a little nervously. Anna couldn't help but laugh too. "I think I have someone else's clothes too. This is crazy." And just like that, the mystery of the laundry mix-up had begun. People all over town were confused and frustrated, but they didn't know how to solve the problem. The more they tried to return the clothes, the more mixed up everything became. It seemed like the entire town had been caught in a whirlwind of wrong jackets, mismatched pants, and lost scarves. As Anna and John began to discuss the mix-up, they realized that they would need to work together to solve the problem. This wasn't just about finding their own clothes, it was about helping everyone in the town get their clothes back. And along the way, they would learn a lot about different types of clothing and how to communicate in English about what they were wearing. The town was buzzing with confusion. Everywhere Anna looked, people were wearing clothes that didn't belong to them. There was a man in a bright pink shirt that clearly wasn't his style, and a woman in a pair of pants that were way too big for her. No one seemed to know how to fix the mess. It was almost as if the entire town had become a giant clothing swap event. But it wasn't fun, it was a disaster. Anna met up with John again later that afternoon. They were both standing on the corner of Main Street, looking at each other's clothes in disbelief. "So, what now?" John asked, holding up a pair of pants that were clearly too short for him. "I don't know," Anna replied, holding up a jacket that didn't belong to her. "How did this even happen?" John shook his head. "I've never seen anything like this. It's like the entire town got mixed up in a giant laundry disaster." They both laughed nervously, but the situation was quickly becoming serious. People were getting frustrated. Some had to go to important meetings or appointments, but they couldn't find their proper clothes. Others were just confused, not sure if the clothes they were wearing actually belonged to them or not. As they walked through the town, Anna and John saw more and more people struggling to make sense of the mix-up. There was Mr. Thompson, the baker, wearing a yellow dress that was clearly not his. "I can't bake in this," he shouted, clearly upset. "I'm going to ruin my bakery's reputation if I show up like this." Next, they spotted Sarah, the laundromat attendant, trying to explain the mix-up to Mrs. Williams. a regular customer. "I'm so sorry, Mrs. Williams. I don't know how it happened. Your blouse was swapped with someone else's," Sarah said, looking embarrassed. Mrs. Williams was not happy. "How could this happen? I need my blouse for a dinner party tonight. What am I supposed to do now?" she replied, her voice full of frustration. Anna and John exchanged worried looks. It was clear that the situation was only getting worse. More and more people were showing up at the laundromat, each one more confused than the last. They had to do something. "Maybe we should start looking for our clothes," Anna said, "but we need a plan. We need to talk to everyone and figure out whose clothes belong to whom." John nodded. "Right, we can't just guess. We need to ask the right questions and make sure we're helping everyone." And so, Anna and John decided to team up and solve the mystery of the laundry mix-up. They started by asking people about the clothes they were wearing. It was funny at first, but as the day went on, it became clear that the situation was much more complicated than they had imagined. They needed to learn how to talk about clothes in English, how to describe colors, sizes, and types of clothing. "I'm wearing a blue jacket, not my usual green one," Anna thought to herself. "Maybe I should ask if anyone has a green jacket." Anna and John were determined to solve the laundry mystery. The town was in chaos, and everyone was looking for answers. "We have to start organizing everything," Anna said as they walked back toward the laundromat. "The only way to fix this is by figuring out who's missing what." John nodded, adjusting his too short pants. "Right, we can start by asking people about the clothes they have. Maybe someone else has our stuff." The two friends decided to make a list of the clothes they had seen around town. "We need to talk to as many people as we can," John said. "The more people we talk to, the more we can figure out who's wearing what." As they approached the laundromat, they noticed a small crowd gathering outside. People were holding up shirts, jackets, pants, and even shoes, hoping to find their own clothes. Everyone seemed to be exchanging items with others, but it wasn't getting them anywhere. It was clear that everyone needed help, and fast. "Excuse me," Anna said, stepping forward. "Can we help you figure out which clothes belong to you?" A woman in a bright red dress stepped forward. "I'm looking for my jacket," she said, her voice full of frustration. "I can't find it anywhere." "It's a dark green jacket with a zipper on the front." Anna thought for a moment. "I saw a jacket like that earlier," she said. "It was with a man who was wearing a blue shirt. Maybe he has your jacket." "Thank you," the woman exclaimed, relieved. "I'll go find him." Next, John spoke to a man in a large pair of pants that looked way too big for him. "What happened to your clothes?" John asked, smiling a little despite the situation. The man sighed. "I think I picked up someone else's pants. They're too big, and I'm going to look ridiculous if I wear them to work tomorrow." Anna stepped forward and took a closer look. "I think I saw some pants like that on the table over there," she said. They looked like they belonged to a woman who was wearing a yellow sweater. The man's face lit up. "That's it. I'll go find her." As the day went on, Anna and John helped more and more people find their clothes. They had learned how to describe clothing in detail, using words like shirt, jacket, pants, sweater, scarf, and hat. They also learned how to describe the colors and sizes of the clothes. "It's a small red jacket. These pants are medium-sized," or "I'm looking for a large black sweater." Anna was starting to feel more confident in her English. She could easily explain what people were looking for and describe the clothes she had seen. She even began to ask questions like, "Can you tell me what color your jacket is?" Or, "Do you know what size your pants are?" At one point, Anna and John were talking to Mr. Thompson, the baker who had been wearing the yellow dress earlier. He had found his pants, but his jacket was still missing. "It's a blue jacket," Mr. Thompson explained. "It's got a patch on the elbow. I really need it for my bakery." Anna thought about it for a moment. "I think I saw a jacket like that on a man over by the park," she said. "It looked like it had a patch, and it was blue." "Thank you. I'll go check there," Mr. Thompson said, relieved. Anna and John felt a sense of accomplishment. They had helped so many people, and the town was slowly starting to return to normal. People were beginning to find their clothes, and the chaos was slowly fading away. However, there was still one more thing to do. Anna and John had to find their own clothes, and they weren't giving up until they did. "Let's go back to the laundromat," Anna suggested. "We'll find our stuff, and then everything will be back to normal." As they walked back to the laundromat, Anna felt proud of the progress they had made. They had worked together, learned new words and phrases, and helped the entire town. And even though they hadn't found their clothes yet, she knew that they were getting closer. The sun was beginning to set as Anna and John made their way back to the laundromat. The day had been long, and the confusion was finally starting to settle. People were beginning to gather around, forming small groups to exchange their clothes, and the atmosphere was less frantic. Everyone seemed to be working together now, sharing descriptions of their clothes and helping each other find the missing items. As they approached the laundromat, they noticed a sign taped to the window, "Great Clothing Meetup. Find your clothes here." Anna smiled. "It looks like they've organized everything into a big event," she said, pointing at the sign. John laughed. "I guess we're all part of the clothing swap now. But at least it looks like we're getting closer to solving the mystery." Inside the laundromat, the atmosphere was different from earlier. Instead of confusion, there was a sense of calm as people were working together to find their clothes. The room was filled with piles of shirts, jackets, pants, and shoes, all organized by color and size. A table was set up in the center, and there was a line of people waiting to talk to Sarah, the laundromat attendant, who was carefully sorting through the clothes. "Anna, John," Sarah called out as soon as she saw them. "You've been such a big help today. I think we're finally making some progress. How about we work together to get the last few pieces sorted out?" Anna nodded. "That sounds like a great idea. We've helped a lot of people today, but we still need to find our own clothes." Sarah smiled. "I've got everything organized, but I'm still missing a few jackets and shirts. Let's see if we can find yours in these piles." As they walked over to the table, Sarah began to pull out different jackets and shirts, holding them up one by one. "Is this one yours?" she asked, showing Anna a red jacket. Anna shook her head. "No, that's not it. Mine is green, with a zipper on the front." Sarah pulled out another jacket, this time in a deep blue color. "How about this one?" John took a look. "That's not mine either. Mine's a dark gray jacket." "I haven't seen it yet." They continued sorting through the clothes, talking to different people as they went. Anna was starting to feel more confident as she described her clothes to the others. "My jacket is medium-sized, and it's made of a soft fabric. It has a little logo on the pocket," she explained to one woman. "Oh, I think I saw a jacket like that earlier," the woman exclaimed. "It was hanging on the coat rack near the bakery." "That's it," Anna said excitedly. "Thank you." Meanwhile, John had been speaking with Mr. Thompson, who was still looking for his blue jacket. "I think I saw something like that earlier," John said. "Let's go check by the window." As they moved toward the window, they noticed a man in a blue jacket standing by the entrance, talking to a group of people. He was wearing the exact jacket that Mr. Thompson had described. "That's my jacket, Mr. Thompson shouted, pointing at the man. The man looked up, surprised. "Oh, is this yours? I must have picked it up by mistake." "Thank you," Mr. Thompson said, relieved. "I'm so glad I found it." With a few more conversations and exchanges, Anna and John finally found their own clothes, too. Anna's green jacket was neatly folded on the counter, and John's gray jacket was hanging nearby. They couldn't believe it. After a long day of searching, they had finally found what they had been looking for. As the evening came to a close, everyone was feeling satisfied. The town had come together to solve the great clothing mystery. People were exchanging clothes, laughing, and talking about their experiences. It was clear that, while the day had started with chaos, it had ended in cooperation and friendship. Anna smiled as she looked around. "I think we've learned something important today," she said. looking at John. It's not just about finding our clothes. It's about helping each other and working together. John nodded. Exactly. And I think we've learned a lot of new words in English today too. Anna laughed. You're right about that. We've learned a lot of new clothing vocabulary. I can't wait to use it the next time I need to buy clothes. As they walked out of the laundromat, they felt proud of what they had accomplished. They had solved the mystery, helped the whole town, and learned valuable lessons along the way. The following day, the town was buzzing with excitement. The laundromat was quiet now, with the smell of fresh laundry filling the air. People had begun returning to their normal routines, but the memory of the great clothing swap still lingered. Everyone was talking about how they had come together to solve the mystery, and even though there had been some confusion along the way, the town was now united. Anna and John sat at a cafe across from the laundromat, sipping their coffee and chatting about the events of the previous day. Anna smiled as she looked around. It's amazing how much we've learned from this experience, she said. Not just about clothes, but about teamwork and helping each other. John nodded, still looking at the window of the laundromat. Yeah, and I think we've learned a lot of new words too. Yesterday, I couldn't believe how many clothing terms I didn't know. But today, I feel much more confident. Anna laughed. Same here. I've even started thinking about how I can use what I've learned in other situations. As they continued to chat, Sarah from the laundromat walked by. Hey, Anna, John, she waved with a smile. I just wanted to thank you again for all your help yesterday. You two were incredible, and we couldn't have solved the problem without you. Anna stood up, surprised. Sarah, it was our pleasure. I'm just glad we could help. I'm so happy everything worked out in the end. I'm happy too, Sarah said. And it's not just about the clothes, you know. It's about how the whole town came together. We all helped each other, and that's something to be proud of. Definitely, John agreed. I think we all learned that sometimes, even when things go wrong, we can still work together to find a solution. Sarah nodded. That's exactly it. And because of the great teamwork, I think everyone in town has a better understanding of how important it is to communicate clearly, especially when there's a problem. Anna thought for a moment. You know, I think we learned something really important here. When you work together, you can accomplish so much more than you can on your own. And that goes for learning English too. Sometimes, asking for help or using new words can make all the difference. Sarah smiled. Exactly. And don't forget, every time you try, even if you make a mistake, you're still learning. John grinned. That's a great way to look at it. It's like the clothing swap. We might have started with a little confusion, but in the end, we all walked away with the right clothes and a lot more knowledge. Anna laughed. Right. And I bet next time I go to the store, I'll be able to describe exactly what I want to buy. Well, I'm glad I got to see you both today, Sarah said as she waved goodbye. Take care, and I'll see you around. As Anna and John walked away from the cafe, they realized that the town's clothing mix-up had taught them more than just new vocabulary. It had shown them how important it is to stay patient, work together, and never give up. The experience had been a challenge, but in the end, it had been a solution to both their clothing problems and their language learning journey. With a renewed sense of confidence, Anna looked at John and said, You know, I think this was one of the best learning experiences I've had. We not only solved the problem, but we also learned so much about how to communicate with others. John smiled. Absolutely. And now, we're ready for whatever comes next. As the sun began to set over the town, Anna and John reflected on everything they had learned from the great clothing swap. They had started out confused, unsure of how to handle the mix-up, but through teamwork and persistence, they had found solutions. Along the way, they learned not just about clothes, but about important English vocabulary and how to work together to solve problems. It feels like we've really accomplished something, Anna said, looking out at the sky. We figured out how to communicate better, and now I feel so much more confident with my English, John nodded, and we learned so many new words. I think I'll never forget the difference between shirt and t-shirt. or how to say jacket when I need one. These little things make such a big difference when you're talking to people. Anna smiled. Exactly. And now, we know how important it is to ask for help when we need it. We also know that communication is key, whether it's about clothing or anything else. Looking around, Anna added, "It's funny to think that something as simple as a mix-up with clothes could teach us so much." John agreed, and it wasn't just about clothes, it was about the way people helped each other. It shows how powerful teamwork can be, whether you're learning English or solving a problem in your life. Before they left, Anna paused and turned to the viewers. I hope you've learned something new today, too. Just like we work together to solve the clothing problem, remember that learning English is a journey. Take it step by step, and don't be afraid to ask for help or make mistakes along the way, John added. And always remember, practice makes perfect. Keep using the new words and phrases you've learned, and you'll keep getting better. Anna smiled warmly. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you won't miss any of our upcoming stories. We've got more fun lessons and adventures to share with you. Keep learning, and see you in the next one.